Well, hello everyone. Trucker Todd here, and time for Tuesday Trucker Talk. Before we get started, let me say this. How about them Cowboys? By the way, how did Dak do last night? Everybody that wanted us to get rid of him. I just had to do that. I've been waiting since last night to say those things, but I appreciate everybody being here. We got a million things to get to, but as promised, we had our first exclusive members only video come out today. We will be releasing it to everybody here in a couple of days, probably Thursday morning. But for those that don't know, right below the video, you can select join, and for just a few dollars a month, you can become a member and you receive exclusive content. You get named out in the videos. At the start of the videos, I'm going to name all the members and things like that. You also get a special icon beside your name when you comment, and you get priority message reading when I see your comment. So it's not always, but I do my best. We had two so far join tonight that I want to shout out. It's names you're very familiar with, really good friends of mine, both of them, John Toohey and Robbie Ross. And so I appreciate both of them. And I probably shouldn't have said it that way, because all five of these people are really, really good friends of mine. Snowman, RGB, and Ramon. Ramon was the very first one to take the leap of faith and become a member, and he did it even before we had any content up. The video I released today for those guys, it was supposed to be a short video. And, I thought it'd be 10 or 15 minutes. It ended up me getting long-winded and it going over an hour. So I don't know if anybody will watch it the whole hour and 4 minutes, but it's kind of a news one. Somebody threw a gallon jug of milk at a truck, busted his windshield while he was going down the highway. Now, you imagine you're doing, you could see a speed on there, so he wasn't doing 70 or nothing. He's doing like 55 miles an hour. And having an 8-pound gallon of milk hit your windshield, I'm sure it scared him to death. They're still looking for the guy that threw the gallon of milk, and the company's offering a $1,000 reward. I had some other news stories there, and then I got long-winded on a story about ELDs and whether they're effective or not, and dash cams, whether they're effective or not. And it was a really good article. But I talked about it way more than I wanted to. So if you hadn't seen it, go back and check it out. Also, since we got a lot of new people coming in every week, I want to remind everybody, the best thing you can do to help me out is, if you can't become a member, I get it, the economy's tight right now. And to some people, $3 or $4 is a lot of money right now. I get it. But at least give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms, and make sure you're subscribed. Even if you subscribed in the past, YouTube is terrible about taking the subscriptions off. And those things right there help me in the analytics. Basically, when you're scrolling through videos trying to decide what you're wanting to watch next, when you do those things, YouTube pushes me higher up in the suggestions, and more people see the videos and watch them and things like that. Also, tell your friends. That's something I always forget to mention, but that really helps as well. So anyway, let's jump into the comments, and then we'll talk about everything we got to talk about tonight. My good friend Adam is here bright and early. Yes, sir. He was in almost 3 hours early. So he was the first one here today. Midlife. What? I'm second? Not late? Yes, sir. You were one of the fast ones today. I had to start it at 6 today because my wife's at work and I had to go pick her up. But I'm glad you're here, Midlife. Oh, heck, it's 2 hours still. See what time zones do to me? No, it wasn't you this time, Midlife. It was me. She's off the next 2 days, so theoretically the Thursday video should be on time, unless the Kenworth gets done or the Corvette gets done. We're going to talk about the Kenworth and the Corvette later tonight. We're also going to talk about my grandson and my aunt. A lot of people have been asking about them as well. My good friend Ramon is here. Ramon, did I mention you when I did when I did yeah, I did. You were the first one to do that. And I was surprised and appreciative all at the same time. Let's see. There's the comment I put up about having the video that was coming out. So I think a few of the members have already seen the videos. If not, it'll be up after the show. You can watch it. And then on Thursday, I'll release it to everybody. There's John Toohey becoming a YouTube member. We're glad to have him. Matthew Miller's here. Thank you for coming in, my friend. And Robbie Ross was the other one that became a member tonight. He says, hello, my good friend. How about them Cowboys? That's right. You know, I looked all over Facebook today. The Dak memes all seem to go away. All of a sudden, everybody's a fan again after all the crap they talked about him. Again, last night he wasn't perfect, but he was pretty good. The defense definitely wasn't perfect, but they were decent, and they got through it. So I'm glad they come out with a win. Now we're going into a bye week where they can get some rest, where they can heal up a little bit, and hopefully they'll be in good shape for their next game. But they were 1.5-point underdogs. I was sure wishing I'd have bet on that game. The whole game I was telling my wife, I should have bet on this game. I should have bet on this game. Of course, they probably wouldn't have won if I'd have bet on it. RD says, howdy, fellers. Let's get this one on the road. Yes, sir. Let's fire it up and roll it down the highway. Then RD says, say I tried to become a member, but I have an iPhone, so I'm going to have to find another route since I'm a South Texas country boy and don't own a computer. That's no problem. I just appreciate you being here. When you make that decision, I'll be glad to have you as a member. I wish YouTube had a way I could give everybody a free trial membership for a month or two, or that they had an alternate way people could sign up if they have an iPhone. There probably is a way, and I'm just not aware of it yet. I didn't even know it was tough to do on an iPhone until somebody said it on the last video on Thursday. I was telling RD that I understand in the past I had to go to a library to use a computer, but that's not real convenient for a truck driver. Hadn't seen too many libraries with truck parking. Maybe they think truck drivers don't read. I don't know. They put my comment twice. Michael says, good afternoon. Thank you for being here, Michael. Lehman Ballistics is here. I'm glad you could make it. Thank you for being here. And Reba Smith is here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Reba Smith. Reba used to come in here a lot. We hadn't seen her in a while, and we're glad she's back in here. The right way to truck. Hey, Todd, how's it going? Picking up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, headed to DeKalb, Illinois. That's actually a pretty nice run. I wouldn't mind that one at all. And Gary Cook is here saying, good evening, Todd. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being here. And Don is here with the cool motorcycle. Good evening. Glad you could make it. I'm trying to catch up. It looks like I'm about 10 minutes behind right now. We'll do a few more, and then I'll jump into some of the stuff y'all are curious about. Yeah, I'm still at home. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The parts are still ordered for the Kenworth, and the Corvette's in the shop getting put back together. I'm gonna give the details here in just a second. I just want to get caught up. RGB says, hey, waving to everybody. Thank you. RGB, as you can tell by the little icon by his name, he's a member. The longer he's a member, those icons are going to change, and it'll upgrade him over time. And currently, another viewer of this show, Shannon Thomas, is trying to figure out how we can upload special emojis that y'all will have access to also. So as soon as I get that, the membership side's going to continue to improve. And it looks like it's going to continue to grow. And I'm going to make a concerted effort to put a lot of content on there for you all. Tomorrow, my wife's off the next 2 days, so I'm hoping we can see some family. But you guys are like family too, so I'll figure out a way to get y'all in it as well. Robbie Ross, new member of the fan club. That's great, man. I don't know if it's a fan club, but it's nice of y'all to be there. Lance Calhoun says, I was just in Lubbock buying a new to me Pete. It's been sitting at Jerry's Truck Repair for a few months. Oh man, I wish I'd have known. I'd have ran out and seen you. Uh, if you guys are ever in the Lubbock area and I'm here, I don't mind meeting y'all or hanging out if you got time. I can't always do it because obviously I'm out on the road working or prior commitments. But man, I would have loved to have gone out and seen your new Pete. Chrissy Snow, rest in peace. Yeah, Suzanne Summers died. We were just talking about that, and my wife was reading all the health problems she had over the years. So yeah, that's a real tragedy. So that means the only living member of Three's Company that I can think of would be Joyce DeWitt. But yeah, we're getting old, and that when all of our television people we watched as kids start dying off, we know we're getting older. Kid behind the wheel says, good evening. Hope everything is well. Made it out of Atlanta alive this afternoon. That can be a chore on 285. I get it, man. Anyway, I'm glad you're doing good. Speaking of trucks and truck driving, my Kenworth is still waiting on parts. We're hoping they're not really sure if the parts will get there tomorrow or Thursday. And then, they'll have to work me back into the rotation. I hope by Monday to have the truck running. My Corvette, there's an interesting story. So originally, this shop has done work for me in the past on the Corvette to the tune of a little over $4,000. And they told me when I talked to them originally, oh yeah, we'll just run out to your shop. It's about 5 miles away. We'll just run out there and we'll put your Corvette back together. I'm having trouble getting the cluster back in it because it's a 50-year-old car, and the plastics are delicate when a car gets to be 53 years old or 50 years old. So you don't want to bend it wrong or twist it wrong because you can break it and not be able to get replacement parts. The speedometer, tachometer, bezel I hadn't been able to find a replacement, especially in that red color. Now I know you can dye it and things like that. But anyway, when I went to see them on Friday, they were like, yeah, we can't go out there, but we're not busy. If you can get it up here pretty quick Monday morning, we'll jump right on it. You'll have it back by Monday afternoon. So I called the tow truck companies early Monday morning, started trying to find a good deal, who was cheapest on the tow. And they said, oh, we'll be there in 15 minutes. I said, whoa, I'm not even dressed yet. Why don't we make it about 30 or 40 minutes so I can get dressed and get out there? They said, okay. So I get out there and I sit and I sit and I sit. I pulled the Corvette out of the shop with no steering wheel. Now that's some driving right there. But I cranked it up, drove it out. I even did a YouTube short and a TikTok video of it running outside the shop. If you hadn't heard the engine or anything, you can go back and check that out. And he didn't come, so I called him. They said, oh, he'll be there in 10 minutes. I said, okay. So I sat there a little longer, waited another 45, 50 minutes, still nothing. I called him. He's going to call you right now. So he calls me. He says, hey, I'm on the one before you. I'll be there just as quick as I can. I said, well, I got to leave. My wife's got to go to work. I got to go drop her off at work. And so I left. He came out there. He took a picture of the car. He said, is this your vet? I said, yeah. So he hooked it up, towed it over to the shop. And then I met him at the shop and gave the keys to the shop and told him what I wanted done and all of that. But I think he was kind of new. I definitely don't think he had a GPS because he drove right past the shop, and I was texting him while he's driving by. I said, hey, you're passing the shop. You need to turn around. So he turned around, and I walked out to the street and kind of waved him in. And then the parking spot, they wanted him to drop the car in. He said he couldn't do it. I think he was probably kind of new. And so he just put it out there in the middle, and they said they'd take care of it. But they told me when I got there on Monday, they're like, "Oh, we're backed up now. It's going to be a couple of days." Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Several mechanics were out there taking pictures of the car and texting people, talking about what a great car it was and all this. Several people were asking me questions about the car and things like that. And so I don't know if it really takes that long to put it back together, if they just want to show their buddies. So anyway, I've learned with shops, you don't want to pick a fight with them because it'll take forever. So I just kind of need to go with the flow on that. Same reason I'm not pressuring the Kenworth dealer. They're going to do it in their time, and if you start putting the heat on them, you'll catch a lot of attitude. So I'm hoping they'll have it done tomorrow. And then I've been contacted through my son, a guy that he knows that owns a car dealership. I actually know the guy too. Said, "Hey, is that your dad's car?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm interested in it, so I may run it out to his car lot and see if he wants to buy it." And then I know another car lot here in Lubbock that buys a lot of classic cars and things like that. I may run it by and show it to them as well. Now, for the grandson, he had a doctor's appointment yesterday afternoon, and I talked to my son earlier today. They're still waiting for tests to come back. It was more of a checkup to see if there'd been any new developments. And so, unfortunately, at this point, I don't have any additional news to share, good or bad. And I guess that's good. Any day that you don't get bad news is a good day, a good news day. So there's nothing really new to report there, and some of it I'm kind of keeping under the hat for now. But I can just tell you, it's bad. Whatever you're thinking, it's a little worse than that. So definitely, if you're one of the guys that's been praying for him, keep praying for him. My aunt's kind of in a holding pattern, still in the rehab place. They're getting second opinions on her leg, if they're going to have to amputate more or not. Currently, they just took half her foot. What they're going to do next is kind of gross. They're going to remove one of the scabs and see how the tissue is underneath, if it's healing up or if it's got infection under there. So I don't even like to think about that. But anyway, that's what's been going on there. Talked to Scott this morning. He was just touching base with me, seeing how I'm doing, seeing if I heard anything yet. And so we had a normal, cordial conversation. I just unfortunately didn't have a lot of news to share with him. Oh, dang, I didn't know you were from Lubbock, Texas. I got stranded over there at a truck stop right across the street from Fleet Pride. Yep, that was last year. That's it used to be Rip Griffin's. Now it's called a Yes Way. There's also a Stripes right across the street. And yeah, I wish I'd have known you was in the area. Of course, it was last year. I didn't know you back then, but I'd have picked you up and bought you a cheeseburger or showed you the sights around Lubbock or something if I'd have known you were in town. Josh McLean is here. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here, sir. Truck or treat, everyone. Well, I would love to be trucking right now, but I just had a treat. I ate an ice cream before I came on the air. So I guess that's true for me. But yeah, that's what's going on here. I'm going to remove your comments. So the website's up there. If you guys hadn't checked out the website yet, go do that in the ticker. It's going to have it again for y'all, as well as my email. I still to this day have people say, "Hey, Todd, how can I contact you?" The email or the website. The website's got a little message deal on it too, where you can send me a message. I had a call the other day. They go, "Hey, is Scott really as good as you say on the videos?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's great. What do you want me to say?" But yeah, it's all true, folks. And I don't put my number out there for obvious reasons. If there's a need, I pass it out. But I already get a ridiculous, and I mean a ridiculous amount of phone calls every day. To the point that, like Scott, a lot of times he'll just text me, "Hey, call me when you get a chance." And so, yeah, but that's the way it is. You can do that. Also in the description, the way you get there is right below the video. Click on the title, and it'll drop down. And there's a lot of great information there about how to get a solar powered headset like me. Uh, Everything, how to get Mudflap and get $10 off your first fill up, which I know it's only $10, but it's better than nothing. How to get the ES Advantage card, which I think they give you $35 right now, and you get huge discounts with it. I was saving like $1,300 a month using it. I say was because I'm in the shop right now. I'm saving a lot on diesel. I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, check those things out. All the other stuff's there as well. So most of the questions you got can be answered in those places. Even on the website, it's got, if you want to bank at Chase Bank with me, there's a link you can click there. And we've had one or two people do that as well. So just a lot of great information out there. Sometime when you're sitting around bored, you're caught up on all your Trucker Todd videos, check those things out. And you'll be glad you did, or at least I hope you'll be glad you did. And let's see what else was in that video. Had the results of this brake check, and I shared those with you. Percentage of people put out of service, things like that. Probably if I don't do a regular video tomorrow, I'll at least do one for the members, telling them, you know, what I found out about the Corvette, what I found out about the Kenworth, all that stuff. And I don't know if we'll go live tomorrow or not. Maybe we will. It'll just depend on if I'm able to see family or stuff like that. Surprisingly, I've been here, almost 2 weeks, Paula? When did I get here? Paula don't know when I got here. She said too long. But anyway, I think it's been over a week. I think Friday was a week. I think we're going on almost, I think this Friday will be 2 weeks. She's agreeing with that. This Friday will be 2 weeks. And so I've got family that I've either only seen briefly, saw my son for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, saw my uncle and my aunt that's going through all these issues for about 45 minutes, something like that. And we were watching the Texas Tech game at the time, so it wasn't like deep, thorough conversation. So I may try to swing back around and see everybody. Me and Paula may go do something fun together. I don't know, but I'll still try to keep everybody in the loop and put out some videos and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm rambling now. What do you guys want to talk about? Hit me with your questions. Or this will be a real short video. I'll run out of stuff to talk to. I always tell people, when you're at home, or not even at home, if you're not fighting with your dispatcher, which I'm my own dispatcher, and your truck's not breaking down, which my truck's already broke down, but it's in the shop waiting for parts, you run out of stuff to talk about real quick. Earlier in my YouTube video days, I did some how-to videos and stuff like that. But since I've already done that stuff, there's no point in doing that again. Goodbye, Wesley. I guess I am going to address that, but it's going to be at Wesley's expense. There was a rumor going around this week by a troll that I had had an accident, and that's why I was at home. That is false. Not even close to true. And I know the troll it came from. And Wesley knows it's not true, but he's a troll himself. And I thought he was hidden from the channel, but somehow he made his way back in here, so he's gone again. I hope it was worth it, Wesley. Corey Oatley just became a member. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the additional content. But like I said, I'm going to make an effort. It'll be easier for me to do that while I'm down. Obviously, when I start back running again, it'll be a little harder. But, yeah, that's where we're at. So the parts, I've actually got the estimate right here that they are waiting on is, I always forget the name of this part. I put it in the other video. It is a chassis module primary is the first one. So primary chassis module, also known as a PCM, also known as a computer. And then for the bunk heater, we are waiting on an overheating sensor for the bunk heater. So I guess the sensor's misreading it, thinks it's overheating. I know they were messing with it today. I don't know if they were working on it because that was part of why Scott called. He said, hey, I think they're working on your truck. They just disconnected the ELD. I said, well, they may have unhooked the batteries to, keep them from getting drained over time. He said, yeah, that's true. So we don't know if they're working on it or if they just disconnected the batteries. I do get a email from them every night with updates, but it usually comes about 8 p.m. And by then we'll probably be off the air. I don't know yet. Eagles lose, 49ers lose. What's a good weekend? There you go. And, man, I was glad Dak had a decent game. When he ran for that touchdown, I was excited because people say, oh, he can't run. Oh, he can't throw. He made some good throws, but in his defense, the receivers were catching better. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty good game, and that other receiver, number 13, I can't think of his name. I wish they'd quit throwing him the ball. He dropped a lot of passes last night. Corey Oatley says, looking forward to the awesomeness. Me too. If you figure out how I can create some, let me know. I don't know if it'll be awesome, but it'll be there. Michael said, dang, I missed my chance to ban someone. Yeah, let me tell you a little more about Mr. Wesley. He comes in here being all cool after he sent me probably 20 emails cussing me out. And I let him go for a while, kept telling me you need to calm down, chill out. And now he's done. He don't get another chance. Just got switching transmissions out at the house. On what kind of vehicle? I'm glad you clarified the YouTube membership. I was afraid you were promoting a Trucker Todd OnlyFans. Nobody wants to see that. Who knows, though? Maybe down the road there will be a Trucker Todd calendar. Those of you wanting to see my pecs and my abs, maybe me in a Speedo. You never know what's coming down the line. But right now, I just don't think the market is there for that. Ramon, another member, says, what's up, buddy? Not much. Now I'm just doing some self-deprecating humor. Terry B says, reason I ask, my truck was down over a month because I couldn't get a hold of high-pressure fuel lines. You can't use the old ones when you have to take them off. 7,000 people are waiting on these. I did not know that. No, mine is just that overheating sensor and that PCM. And so hopefully, I was relieved, and this sounds stupid of me to say, I was relieved that it was the PCM because I had so many people tell me, oh, you don't know what you're doing, it's your pigtail. And I kept telling them it's not getting power to the pigtail, it's prior to the pigtail. Oh, no, it's your pigtail. And I had people, all kinds of stuff like that. Todd, it's a fuse. You didn't check this fuse. You didn't check that fuse. People always assume that I don't know what I'm doing, and I always get over. I'm a lot smarter than I look. And the bunk heater, I was wrong about it, though. I thought it needed a reset. That's what they thought, too, but when they reset it, they realized it was that overheating sensor. Gary Cook says, how about those Detroit lines? I got to start following Detroit. I hadn't been following them, but yeah, I've got to start following them because I get a lot of questions about them. Another thing, I just found out today, Dolly Parton is going to be doing the halftime show for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. She's 100 years old, but she's got a lot of good songs. Kenworth now has you buy a transmission rebuild to have a backup for another truck. Yeah, I don't know about that. I really question their labor, and they better come to their senses, because if we get to the end of this and labor's what they say it is, I'm going to pay the bill, but afterwards I'm going to raise hell. I ain't even going to lie. There's going to be videos. I'm going to contact PACCAR directly, and it's not going to go well. The fuel lines only are around $80, but I paid $9.99 online. Been moving for a month now. If I would not have bought these, I would still be down. Okay, I'm going to ask a dumb question. And you guys are going to make fun of me. That's fine. But like in Lubbock, we've got a lot of hose shops that they do mainly hydraulic lines and stuff for the oil field. I wonder if I went to one of those places with an issue like yours, if they could just make me some more, take the old ones in there and say, hey, I need these either repaired or replaced. I'll bet you somebody could custom make you some for less than $1,000. But I don't know. PACCAR is so proprietary about their stuff. Maybe that's the only way you can do it. But basically, over a 10-time markup seems like price gouging, but I guess it's supply and demand. You got to do what you got to do. Okay, here we go with the Dak attack. Travis Jones says Dak won against the worst passing defense in the league. I have to see more from him. I agree with you. One good game doesn't make you a great quarterback, but you know, he has a couple of bad games and it makes him the worst quarterback ever. We should get rid of him. We should fire the coach. And I don't feel that way either. It's a long season. We're all wanting another team to go undefeated the whole season. And it's not going to happen. There's going to be wins. There's going to be losses. They're going to have good days and bad days, just like us truck drivers. Sometimes we pull in a dock and it's a tight fit and we get it on the first try. And sometimes we got to do 10 or 15 pull-ups and on the same dock. And I had a target in Houston one time. I'm embarrassed to say this. I went there 3 days in a row with Dart, and I got lost all 3 days because of the construction in Houston. They kept changing the route that you got there. And, of course, GPS doesn't help you when they do a route change daily like that. So I just had to figure it out. And so we're all going to have good days. We're all going to have bad days. And, you know, he's been to the Pro Bowl twice, so he does know how to play. And nobody that's a slacker makes it to the NFL. Even the worst player in the NFL is pretty darn good. So let's see. I was optimistic and encouraged by what I saw, but I know a lot of people are still going to continue to attack Dak until he gets a Super Bowl win. Yeah, and that's part of what I'm mad about. Ramon says, you talk about the price for the bunk heater, they were charging you like $700. Yeah, this is why I think I'm being ripped off, and this is why the war is about to break out. So the bunk heater part is $62.74. It's very easy to get to, very easy. The actual pump itself is right near the back of the cab in the center between the two frame rails. Very easy to get to. I know right where it's at. I could change the fuel filter on it easily in less than 10 minutes. And that's me climbing my big fat butt under there. If I was already under there, I could probably change it in 2 or 3 minutes. But guess what the labor is on that? $720. So they're charging, what is that, about 5 hours of labor to put it in. I believe it's excessive. I think what they did, that original 4.5, I think they duplicated it and then added another hour for putting this bunk heater on. And I'll bet if we sit down and go through it line by line, that's what we're going to find out. But when I talked to the service writer about it, and I was being real polite, real tactful, he got real defensive about it, and that's fine. So when I go in after all the repairs are done, I'm going to talk to the shop foreman, and we're going to go through it line by line. And they're not realizing I used to be a service writer. I used to write these things. I know what's right and what's not. I've got access to Pro Demand. I can look up what the flag hours are, all that stuff. And we're fixing to have a conversation. Now, what I hope will happen is he'll say, you know what, Trucker Todd, you're right. Let me fix this. And he knocks $700 or $800 off the bill. If he don't, we're going to go to plan B, which involves Trucker Todd contacting PACCAR. And I can tell you from past experiences with TA and Petro and Loves and a few other shops that I'm very successful when I go that route too. I don't really want to do that because it makes me feel like a bully. I would rather go in there and us sit down. Let's talk about it like adults. No yelling, no screaming. Explain it to me. If I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong. I'll apologize to everybody and we'll go down the road. But if I'm right, then apologize to me and fix it. And so the next week is going to be very interesting. And you guys know I'm going to come on here and tell you the truth. If it's my fault, I'm going to come on here and say, hey, I was wrong. Here's why. But I just don't believe there's 5 hours of labor in putting in an overheat sensor for a bunk heater. Maybe I'm wrong, but we're going to find out. And so if you're subscribed, you'll get notifications when those videos come out. And if you're a member, you may find out before everybody else does. I'll try to put a video out a day or two early and let y'all guys know what I find out. Michael said that's why you do it yourself. Some people can, some can't. Well, this whole repair cannot be done by yourself. According to them, both of those parts have to be programmed. The PCM has to be programmed as well as the bunk heater overheat module. So I could install the parts, but I could not program them. And on this particular repair, the part that I could do, which would be the reset of the bunk heater, wouldn't have fixed it. So I would have wasted a day working on it, and I would have still had to take it to the shop, and they would have still done the same diagnostics tests that I'm having to pay for, and I would have still needed the same repair. So basically, I would have just wasted a day. Go Buckeyes. Won't be watching tonight, dealing with some stuff. We'll watch the replay. If you're on when I'm done, I'll jump on. Have a great show. Thanks, Tim. If there's something I can help with or you need to talk, holler at me after the show or give me a call in the morning. I'll be happy to talk to you, my friend. Michael says, hello, Todd's wife. Yeah, she didn't put a blanket over herself tonight. She's not a ghost tonight. It was kind of creepy earlier because that video that I filmed earlier for the members, you could hear ghost sounds outside. People are starting to decorate for Halloween, and they have to turn them off at night, but in the day you'd hear, ooh. So it was kind of a creepy video. I don't know if it came across in the video or not, but I could definitely hear it. Ramon says, I'm in the wrong business. $60 part, $700 labor. What are they doing taking the whole truck apart? Well, in the mechanic logs, they said that they had to remove the side skirting and several of the braces. So, I mean, if I get to the shop and they pull it up and it shows that amount of labor on there, then I have no reason to doubt it. Now, you and I know they can do it quicker than flag hours, but every shop charges flag hours. I'm okay with it if it's what they call reasonable and customary. But if it's not reasonable and customary, I'm going to come apart. And I'll tell you what's worse than that. Y'all want to talk about highway robbery. When I went to the Loves here in Lubbock that I love so much, know so many good people in there, I took it there first because there's a mechanic there. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. He's kind of a bald-headed guy. He's been a mechanic for a zillion years, very knowledgeable. He looked my truck over and said, I can't fix it, Todd. You're going to have to go to the dealer. Charge me $92 for that. I don't think they should charge me if they can't diagnose it. But I called Scott after I left that shop. I said, hey, Scott, I got a business venture for us. He said, oh, yeah, what's that? I said, let's open up a shop. Let's pull trucks in. Let's walk around them, go, yep, I don't know what's wrong with it, and charge them $100. And he got a kick out of that. But yeah, I mean, how do you charge somebody if you don't do what they're paying for, if you don't diagnose it? It's called a diagnosis. No diagnosis occurred. If you said, I don't know what it is, that's not a diagnosis. Hey, Todd, put a fireplace. It's cheaper. Yeah. Yeah. For $700, I could start burning clothes and cardboard and everything else. Matthew Miller says, good evening, everyone. That's why I don't fool with PACCAR. $5,000 for their program. Have the program for everything else. Yeah. I didn't know how much their program was. They've got a wireless diagnostic thing you can subscribe to, and I've never inquired about how much it is. But even then, I had it on Volvo, and a lot of times they'd say, oh, it says this, but it might be something else. You still need to take it in. And even when they said, yeah, it's definitely this, I broke down in Gallup, New Mexico at that Petro, and I called Volvo one time, and they're like, yeah, it's definitely this. Go to the dealership and tell them you need this. And I go to the dealership and they go, we still got to run diagnostic. We can't go off of what they tell you. So I don't know. The one thing I did like about Volvos, though, is they could tell you, you'd have a check engine light on and they could say, yeah, this is something you need to get fixed right now. Or no, this is something that could wait. Several times I called them and they go, oh, yeah, that's just the computer hiccuped. After 20 key turns, I think it was, it'll go away. Or they'd say it has a 48-hour deal and then it'll go away. And sure enough, after about 48 hours, the light would go out. Whereas if I didn't have that service, I would have thought, I got to go get it looked at right now. And so it definitely has its place. I don't know if it's worth $5,000, but it might be worth $100 a month or something. Clarence Huntley says, good evening, Todd. Good evening, sir. That one guy, dang, these load boards are looking bad. I'll be honest with you. I hadn't even got on there and looked while my truck's down, because if it's really good, it'll frustrate me. And if it's really bad, it'll depress me. So nothing good's going to come out of me looking at them right now. But what's really depressing is I'm still paying $85 a month for that. And there's no telling when I'll be able to use it again. I don't know if you can pause it and save yourself a little money, or if you're just on the hook. I guess I could still use it if somebody had a load board question. If another SRO driver or something was on there looking at loads and was wondering if they should pull one or not, I might be able to help that way or something like that. But I'm not getting $85 a month worth of use out of it right now, for sure. For sure. All right, we're at the 45-minute mark. If you guys got anything you want to talk about, throw it up. We'll talk about it. I also just noticed I'm wearing a Freightliner hat when I drive a Kenworth, so I don't know what to say about that. Definitely don't have any brand loyalty. She don't have a blanket over. Oh, she does have a blanket over her head. There's the ghost I was hearing earlier today. Woo! She's silly. Can you turn the air on, please? Cover up. So the video of the vet looks nice. I like those wheels. Yeah, I love that car. I'm going to be very sad when it goes. And that's a lot for me to say I like a Chevy, but that one's nice. I was really hoping you'd buy it, Ramon, because you had expressed interest in it before, and it'd give me a chance to meet you. So I was, in the back of my mind, I thought, I hope Ramon buys it. But this one guy that was talking to my son, he's a wholesaler in the car world, so he buys a lot of cars from dealerships and stuff. He's got money, and he's got an old Ford pickup between us that I really, really, really want. And if he had some cash and would throw that pickup in, we could make a deal. And I know I don't need another pickup, but man, that truck's nice. The only thing wrong with it is it's not a four-wheel drive, but it is an extended cab. It's an old one from the 70s, 3/4 ton. It's a nice truck. Nice truck. Blue and white, which is my hometown's football colors. So I'd love to have that truck. And I may drive the vet out of there when I get it out of the shop, out to his place when I get out of the shop, and just kind of show it to him. The problem you have with that car is everybody wants to drive it, but nobody has any money. And this guy's got money, but I think he would just want to drive it. Like the mechanics, they wanted to take pictures of it and ask me questions about it. They didn't want to work on it. They just wanted to hear the history, how I got it, how long I had it, things like that. I'm selling my Jeep for $19,000. Yeah, it's a nice Jeep. You've sent me pictures of your Jeep. I like it. What are you going to get next after your Jeep goes away? Hey, Abandon's here. Glad you could make it, my friend. I was getting ready to give you a wrench, and I looked down. You've already got a wrench, so I can't do that to you. But I appreciate you being here tonight. Comments are a little slow tonight, but we got about 35 people in here, so we'll keep going for a little bit, see if some more comments come in, if some more people pop in. I don't know who else is live tonight. Tuesday seems to be a busy YouTube night. When I set up the Tuesday show, it worked out best for me for scheduling. Now it's a horrible night for me, but I don't know what a better night would be. Gary Cook says it's starting to get dark early again. Where are you at tonight, Gary? Scooter insurance is high too. You know, this is what's funny. The one thing I didn't complain about on the Corvette was the insurance. It's like $400 a year through Haggerty's. Now it's a special insurance. I have to agree to keep it in an enclosed garage and things like that. Like I can't park it in my driveway overnight. But I've got the vet insured for $25,000. And so that's what they appraised it at. It's not me pulling a wild number out of my head. And so, yeah, that's it's the cheapest by far of any of my cars on insurance. Even two of my vehicles, which only have liability insurance, it's cheaper than those. Thought you and Wes worked at Swift with each other. We did. But one thing you learn when you get a YouTube channel is people will turn on you in the drop of a dime if they think it'll benefit you. And at some point, he felt like he needed to turn on me, and that's fine. I don't want to comment about it too much or make the show about it. But if you saw the emails, you would understand why I did what I did. Mount Vernon, Texas, I'll be reloading tomorrow. In Clarksville, Texas, heading to Chicago. Ah, okay. So you're still at that TA? That's right. You were supposed to deliver today, I think, if I remember correctly. That's another thing about that Corvette. When I bought it, I thought, oh, I'll take, short trips in it over to see my dad and stuff like that. It's not comfortable for a long trip. I drove it from Dallas to Lubbock, and I hopped out of that car walking like I'd been on a horse for 3 days. I was sore. So it's a great cruising around town on a weekend car, but it's not a go 300 miles in car. Gary says, yeah, Tyler, Texas, it took 5.5 hours to get unloaded at Target. Stay away from that place. That's unusual. The times that, well, almost all the times I've been there, it's been drop and hook. There's been a couple of times it was a live unload, but they were usually pretty quick. I don't know what's going on. It seems like since COVID, though, that all these places are shorthanded. They don't give a crap no more. And that seems to be the problem now, work ethic. My wife at her job, for example, they caught a guy multiple times hiding and playing on his phone when he's supposed to be working. And so, you know, they're making a bunch of them put their phones in a box in the office because people can't have the self-control to stay off their phones when they're supposed to be working. I know it ticks me off when you go somewhere and you're trying to order something or trying to buy something and they're talking to somebody else on the phone, not paying attention, or they stop helping you and answer the phone. It's like, I'm here right now to give you money. That person on the phone's still going to drive down here. Help me and then deal with that person on the phone. But I realize that's never going to happen. Still plenty of time to get your comments in if you got a question or something you want to talk about. We're almost at the hour mark. We're holding steady at about 33, so we'll keep it going. All right, let me see if I can understand this one. I feel creeped out here. I need a break. Why do you feel creeped out? Because of the load board rates? Hey, Michael says he's got to go put on an AC compressor and do the diagnostic. We'll watch the replay. All right, man, be careful out there. Good luck on the AC. I appreciate you being here. The comments have really slowed down, so we may wrap this one up pretty quick if everybody's just kind of not feeling it tonight. Start working again after 2 months of vacation. I wouldn't know what that's like. I wish I could take 2 months of vacation. Everybody thinks that I'm on vacation right now. And I can tell you honestly, I'm busier now than when I'm working. There's so much to do around here. And, I still take the same amount of phone calls. I still try to put out videos. And so I stay pretty busy. That video that I released today started off being over 75 gigs in 4K, 60 frames a minute. And I had to cut it back because my phone didn't have enough memory. So I had to reduce the video quality so I could get it out. Got loaded up in Phoenix, headed to Newcastle, Indiana. This is Robbie Ross, by the way, another channel member. Contractor told me 6 more weeks on my house. Traveling with all 3 of my dogs. Boarding got costly. So Robbie had flood damage to his house, and they basically gutted it and started over. I've seen pictures. And because of that, he's having to carry his 3 dogs with him. He had tenants staying in his house, and I guess they were kind of helping with the dogs, but now he's had to move the tenants out because it's not really livable. And he's been down for a while, and they're telling him at least 6 more weeks before his house is ready. And man, it looks like they could almost build you another house in that amount of time. I don't see what's taking so long. I know they could from start to finish. How long you've been waiting? They could have bulldozed it and built you a duplicate for the amount of time it's taken. I was tired today. We stopped at the store when I picked my wife up, and I got some of these Juneberry Red Bulls because I thought I was going to need them for tonight's show, but so far so good. Coke Zero's done the trick. We got a lot of people missing tonight that I thought would be here. There must be something going on, but I'm glad those of you are here that are here. Another channel member, the very first channel member, the very first channel member just commented again. Ramon, wish I can have your lifestyle mansion, grand piano, Corvette, mobile trailer. Yeah, I wish I had the life everybody thinks I have. That's what I wish. It's not all glitz and glamour, but while we're here and while Ramon mentions it, let's bring let me go in the living room so that y'all can see the living room, the piano that he loves so much, and all of that. All right, there we go. You also can see if I move the other way, there's my fireplace. I thought it was funny the first time somebody asked me, "Is that your real house?" Uh, I don't live as luxuriously as everybody thinks I do. I have a good life and I'm pretty happy, but I'm living on a shoestring budget right now. I promise you. Hey, Gypsy Travel Adventures is here. New to your channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I really do. And Miss Mother Trucker says, got to get inside my truck for the first time. It is awesome, and they're still putting things on it. It's really cool. Yeah, but I saw your truck, and it's not based like you said. It's got the dinette in the back, and from what I understand, that's a $5,000 upgrade. So congratulations to you. It does look like a new truck. And I'm happy for you. I really am. I know another guy that had a Volvo, and he got incredible fuel economy out of it. So I hope the same's for you as well. I hope to see you in the mid nines, maybe. It's hard to say with that reefer, but you can always hope. Okay, guys, say hi to my friend Gypsy. She's on here. Gypsy is friends of Miss Mother Trucker. You didn't tell us that, Gypsy. We're glad you're here. I hope you'll hang around and like it. If you got any questions or comments, throw them up there. Even if you disagree with me, it's okay. We can still be friends. And you're safe in here. You can say whatever's on your mind. Hey, that's an idea, Gary. Gary says I should put this fireplace. Let me see. Oh, that fireplace. That's hard to do. He says I should put it in my truck. I could do that. I'd have to cut a hole in the side, which would be easy to do since the trolls think I wrecked my truck. I could remove some cabinets and mount the fireplace right there. That'd be awesome. And it'd probably make the guy parked beside me at night nervous. No Fear says, hey, everyone, now we're picking up. The gang is getting back in here. The comments should start picking up. If you've hung around to this point, it's about to get fun. Her channel is FC's Travel Adventures. I'll have to check it out. What kind of, is she like an RVer or is she in a truck or what does she do? I don't even know if she's still here, but I'll have to check it out. Oh, it's Gypsy's Travel Adventures. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Tell us a little bit more about it or have her tell us about it if she's still here. Ramon, channel member, says, Mother Trucker, nice truck. Nice Volvo. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty nice truck. It was nicer than what I was expecting because she said it was the base, but it didn't look base to me. We might have a mild disagreement about that. Just a few more members and you can get that living room. If all 6,000 of my subscribers would become members, Uh, I could stop driving and just make videos. I just said that to see Scott cringe. I bet Scott cringed when he heard me saying that. No, I actually like driving. So even if I had 1,000,000 members, I'd still drive. The fun thing for me is to go out and meet you all, and I really like when I hear that I was able to help one of you or something like that. So yeah, I'm still going to drive in some capacity, probably from now on. Now I may be home a lot more or something like that, but yeah, that's that's the truth about that. But it's fun to say it and just imagine Scott in his head thinking, "Hey, you better not quit driving." I don't know why my phone beeped. I've got the ringer turned off. Uh, Gypsy says, "Gotcha. I love a safe space." Yeah, and the reason I said that, Mother Trucker was talking about on her channel. People have said rude things about her being a woman or being a truck driver, things like that. It's not going to happen in here. We try to keep a lid on that. You can disagree with me, and that's fine as long as we keep it clean. But if somebody starts destructively tearing somebody down, we'll time them out or get them out of here, depending on how bad they are. My renovated house is going to look like that. This is actually how I pictured your house looking, Robbie. I'll have to get a video of what my house will probably end up looking like. I'll have to find a shack or something. My wife's over here laughing. But no fear says laughing my A off. What? Gypsy's Travel Adventures. I'm going to check it out after the show. Oh, she's a prime driver too. Well, I need y'all in here. There's a bunch of you prime YouTubers that hate me, and I'm not a bad guy. I was critical of Prime at one point, and I'm still critical of Prime at some points. There's some things they do I don't like, but you can definitely make money there. Miss Mother Trucker does very well there. I don't think anybody disputes that. I'm sure you're doing very well there. I don't like when companies start pressuring students to do lease purchase straight out of school. I would like it a lot better if they said, "Hey, we want you to drive 2 years before you do a lease purchase." Or really, I'd like them to say, "We want you to drive 5 years." I know that's dreaming, but at least 2. No Fear says, "I like driving." I used to hate it. Probably the first 20 years I drove, I hated it. But now I'm starting to like it, mainly because of you guys. It's a lot of fun to go out here and meet people that you've been talking through chat and see people so excited to see you, to go to these truck shows and have companies come running up to you all excited to see you, things like that, wanting to be on your show, things like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it more now than I ever have before, and my wife enjoys it because I'm gone all the time. She's over there shaking her head yes. Gypsy Travels says, "I love to drive also." Well, good deal. Ramon, channel member, says, "I used to run Volvo. They are nice. The only problems is if you're hauling 45,000 pounds, they always are heavy in the steer axle." Yeah, and if you've got a fixed fifth wheel, that makes it a little harder. If you can slide your fifth wheel, sometimes you can get it under control. What I don't like about Freightliner is that it seems like after 2 or 3 years, they just start rattling. It feels like the plastics are cheaper and the resale value goes down real bad. But they're an efficient truck, and the Detroits are really reliable. But yeah, that's I see what you're saying. She's a truck driver, prime, and she's a trainer. Yeah, that seems to make a big difference when you train. But it takes a special person. And I think there's a lot of people that are trainers that have no business being trainers. And we definitely need more good trainers out here. But yeah, if you find your groove and you like what you're doing, then more power to you. Miss Mother Trucker says, thank you. Gypsy's Travel Adventures. That happens a lot. There are those who don't like female drivers. Yeah, she was talking about that among the YouTube community at Prime, that a lot of the other, especially male drivers, don't want to associate with her. And she didn't know if it's because she's on YouTube or because she's female or what. And we try to treat everybody equally in here. Scott must get notified when your ELD gets unplugged. Yeah, because it's his ELD. He pays for it. I'm running under his authority. So he knew the reason it was in the shop, but he called me because he was excited. He thought maybe they were repairing my truck and that it'd be out of the shop today or something like that. Not that, and you know, he didn't think, well, maybe they were unhooking the batteries. He's just a real optimistic guy, and I think he was hoping that it'd be done soon. No Fear says, true, Gary. He's talking about the fireplace in the truck. Yeah, that would be nice. Hate is a strong word and shouldn't be used. I agree with you, but there's definitely some haters out here. I hadn't looked to see how big your channel is yet, but if I told you half the things they've tried to do to me, half the things they've said about me, some of them are just consumed with hate. Oh, I don't think y'all hate me, Miss Mother Trucker. If anything, you've been pretty supportive and said a lot of good things about me on your channel. Volvo is a good riding truck. Yeah, especially if it's got those airbags on the front axle. Miss Mother Trucker said they don't pressure people out of school at all. I'm just going by what I've heard, and maybe they don't do it no more, but I've had several students tell me that they're being pressured to do a lease purchase straight out of training, straight out of school. And I know they've got several schools, so maybe some of them do and some of them don't. But I've never been through a prime school. I've shared that I went to truck driving school in 97, or actually in 96 in Altus, Oklahoma. And so I don't have any firsthand knowledge on that. I'm just going by what people have told me. No Fear said, I would like to see more female drivers out here. I honestly don't have a preference on that. And but what I would say, I'd like to see more good drivers out here. I don't care if they're male or female, American or from foreign countries. I'd like to see more good drivers out here, smart drivers that are thinking about safety and doing the right thing. Okay, guys, Gypsy is single. I noticed that Miss Mother Trucker is kind of working as her wingman tonight for Gypsy Travel. She's trying to get her set up. I didn't hear Gypsy say she's single, but Miss Mother Trucker is putting her out there. So if Gypsy is somebody you might be interested in, or heck, I'll throw Miss Mother Trucker's name in there too. If these two women are something you might be interested in, look up their YouTube channels and check them out. See their content, and if there's something you might be interested in, maybe we can make a love connection here tonight. Gypsy Travel Adventure says, Miss Mother Trucker, girl, LOL. No Fear says, laughing at Miss Mother Trucker. Gypsy says her channel's not big at all. Want to grow, of course. Well, let me tell you what to expect, because there's a guy, I'm sure you've met him, Cassius King. He has a channel that is probably the least controversial YouTube channel there is. He just does news stories. He shows his pay every week. He doesn't say anything real controversial. And he revealed a couple of weeks ago that he has trolls, haters. And I don't see how. It's baffled my mind ever since I heard him say that, because he does nothing. Now I get it with me. I say some controversial stuff from time to time. I talk bad about companies when they deserve it. I give my opinion. But Cassius King says nothing controversial, or at least I've never heard him. And for him to have trolls means anybody could have trolls. So if your channel's small, maybe you're not there yet, but get ready. They're coming. And I don't know that they really hate you. It's just they like to see if they can throw you off your game, if they can rattle your cage. And just know who you are and be true to yourself, and don't worry about what they say. No Fear says true. Gypsy's Travel Adventures. You can't do a lease purchase directly out of school at Prime. You can do a regular lease, though. And since Prime is mostly lease, they prefer it. Yeah, there's some clarification. So I might have misspoke. I said lease purchase because that's what I'm used to calling them. It's the regular lease they try to get them into. And they tell them they can be their own boss and all of that. But they still regulate their home time. And I'm not a huge fan of that. But in a situation like Miss Mother Trucker, where she's been there a few years, she's made a very significant amount of money there. It makes sense for her. I just wish they would force everybody into a company driver position for a certain length of time before they talk to them about lease or lease purchase. I just think there's some things you need to know before you take that jump. Gypsy's Travel says, LOL. More drivers need to use more common sense. Yeah, and I'm not going to go way off in politics here, but, every time we have an election or a political appointment, it's our first blank, whatever ethnicity they are, whatever religion they are. And I could care less about that. I don't care if they're male, female, black, white, Asian. I want the best person for the job. And same thing for trucking. I think it's great if we have females out here. I think most of the time females are better drivers than men when it comes to trucking because they're more careful. Men are more of a show off. But I don't say, we are to have 40% of the company this race or 30% of the company female. I think we are to get the best people we can get, whatever they happen to be. And so, yeah, that's probably going to get me in trouble tonight, too. That's okay. I need to keep these kind of comments to the members only thing. No Fear says, yeah, Gary, agreeing about we need more drivers with common sense. Gypsy Travel Adventures. I'm totally dead now. Uh-oh. We got some suitors here for Gypsy. Travis Jones says, hello, Gypsy, LOL. Some of you guys, some of you suave guys in here, you already used Joey's line from Friends. How you doing? Gary Cook back with that. Trucker Todd, the dating service. Yeah, everybody, we had a whole show where everybody was chasing Miss Mother Trucker around in here. And we were talking about I should come up with a dating app. No Fear, laughing at Gary. Yeah, Gary's a funny man. Ramon says, hook me up, Grandfather Todd. I'm single. Yeah, let's talk about Ramon, channel member Ramon. He's a good dude. He really is. And I'm not just saying that because he's a channel member. Lives in the Miami area, hard worker, originally from Cuba. And he sent me a really cool picture of his house in Cuba when he was a kid. Migrated here, has been an owner-operator, been very successful at that. Really good guy. If you women are looking for a good guy, give Ramon a shot. Gypsy Travel Adventures. I get it. I've had the channel a couple of years. I am who I am. Yeah, yeah. And man, I've had background checks ran on me. I've had them try to find out where my son's shop is. I've had horrible things said about me that I'm a wife beater, that I'm a child molester, that I'm a racist. Horrible things. None of it's true. There's not an ounce of proof for none of it, but they don't let facts stand in the way of a good story. Now, the current story is that I've had a really bad accident, and that's why I'm not working right now. Well, I don't know what else I can do. I've showed y'all the estimate, and I'm not going to show the details of it right now because it's got my personal information on there. But trust me, it's in the shop for the things that I told you I was. I read the estimate on air. Now, either I'm really fast on my feet and I can make stuff up while I'm reading it, or I'm telling the truth. Roadrunner Nina is a new lease at Prime. Yeah, I saw that. She was at Dart, or not Dart. She was at Swift when I was at Swift, and she may have been at Dart when I was at Dart. She's she's kind of bounced around a little bit lately. I forget who she was with before that. She's had trouble landing on her feet. I think she said she had like 3 or 4 jobs in the last 6 months, and I'm not knocking her, I swear. Sometimes you just have a good run of bad luck. You interview these companies, you think they're a good fit, and then when you get there, they're not what you thought they were going to be. I think Prime will be a good place for her. Seems like before this, she was at FFE or KLLM or somewhere like that. I realize those are the same companies. I don't remember if it was FFE or KLLM. I got a fly over here bothering me. I'm sorry. Hey, we got a love connection. Look at this. Gypsy Travel Adventures is in Miami right now. So there you go, Ramon. Uh, go over to her channel and shoot her a message. Maybe y'all can go grab a hamburger and talk. You never know. I may be going to a wedding in 6 months. Yeah, I think you're right. She went to KLLM after Swift. It again, I'm not knocking her. I don't know her. I did reach out to her one time. I sent her an email asking her how she was doing her music and her videos because YouTube likes to copyright people, and I was asking her what service she was using for her music, and she never answered me back. It was it was at the time we were both at Swift, and I would have thought she would have answered me because pretty much everybody at Swift knew who I was as far as leadership and a lot of the drivers, and she just ignored my message. And so I kind of took it that she didn't want to tell me her music secrets, and that's fine. Now Prime, yeah, she did a video of her truck. I saw that video. It looks like a pretty nice truck too. One thing, one thing about Prime, they got nice equipment. I don't think anybody denies that. And I think I would go crazy going 64, but a lot of times at Swift, I'd run 60 and 62 just for fuel economy. My truck could run 70, but I always did like 60, 62 to get fuel economy as much as I could. CR England is another company that trains new drivers, then offers new drivers the lease. That's a funny company. Yeah, does anybody remember when CR England had the truck that they took a bunch of the cabinets out and put extra bunks in there and they could sleep like 5 people in the truck and train a bunch of people at the same time? Or does anybody remember when CRST had the Dumb and Dumber program where they'd put 2 students in a truck together and let them train each other? I think there's a lot of bad ideas in trucking. Uh-oh. Gypsy Travel Adventure says, well, guys, I must say good night. Sleep is vital to safety. It's been great. Well, thank you for coming in. Don't forget to shoot Ramon an email. He'd love to hear from you. And hopefully you'll join us again sometime. If you're not subscribed, do it. We try to do these lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central. And I've been trying to put out some recorded content too. So I hope you'll join us again sometime. No Fear says, yeah, I do. Yeah, funny times in trucking. And this is where I get in trouble because everybody thinks I'm picking on these companies and, oh, Trucker Todd's so mean. I'm not. I'm just giving you my opinion. You can say Todd's full of baloney and go to work for these companies if you want to. I'm not going to criticize you. I'm just telling you why, at my point in driving, why they wouldn't be a good fit for me. New channel member, Corey Oatley joined us tonight. Trucker Todd, the new Chuck Woolery Love Connection. Yeah, the trucker edition. Well, Miss Mother Trucker, you missed a lot. So Gypsy Travel Adventures just left, but before she left, we found out she's in Miami, and so is Ramon. That's where he lives. So I tried to make a love connection. I don't know if it happened or not, but I thought it was cool they were in the same city. Wouldn't it be funny if they were at the same truck stop? They both go in for breakfast in the morning and run into each other. Wouldn't that be cool? Miss Mother Trucker says, good night, sister. Oh, she's still here. She said she did subscribe. She'll be back. I hope so. Join us again. Thank you for subscribing, too. We're glad to have you. I saw them fail at Swift in Utah and then go to CR England down the street. Yeah, and I guess I have a different take on that. I don't ever view it that the student failed. I viewed it that the training failed. And I think that's the problem with a lot of the rookies that we got out here right now. It's not that they're dumb or they can't do it. Well, I guess in some cases it is. But for the most part, it's that they don't get the proper training. These schools rush them through to get them their CDL as quick as they can. And then they put them in a truck with a trainer that just tries to squeeze every mile they can out of them. And I'm not talking about Prime here specifically. I'm talking about trucking companies in general, the mega carriers, the CR Englands, companies like that, the CRSTs. And, it's just like when you teach your kids to drive. You don't try to do it in one afternoon and then go, all right, take the car anytime you want, go anywhere you want. It's a process. It's weeks and weeks of training. Heck, my dad took me to an abandoned parking lot when it was icy and snowy and had me drive around on it, had me spin out of control and learn how to steer out of a skid. Then he took me back with a gooseneck trailer and we did it again. I had lots of practice back in trailers on the farm because my dad was a farmer back then. And this was when I was very young, like 6 years old. By the time I was 7, I was a very good driver, and I was driving on the turn rows of the farm. And we lived in a real small town. It was a different time back then. At under 10 years of age, and I mean way under 10 years of age, I was driving to town and picking up cottonseed. And I'd go in, sign the invoice, pick up 50 bags of cottonseed, and drive back out to the farm. Hook up to cotton trailers, pull them to the gin, and nobody thought nothing of it. Now, if he did it, he'd probably get arrested, and I probably would too, get sent to juvenile or something. But back then in the farming communities, it was common. And I didn't drive in big cities like Lubbock, but in the small town we were in, I drove a lot, and I was pretty good at it. I drove tractors and plowed, but mainly did what they called set-aside land, which was vacant land that the government basically pays you not to plant on. And it kind of helps the soil to kind of take a year or two off. And I'd get out there with a tandem axle and plow up the weeds and stuff like that. Or I ran a knifing rig one summer, which it pokes holes in the ground to keep the dust from blowing as much. So, parents need to spend time teaching their kids how to be good drivers. And we need to do the same thing when they're getting a CDL. Just because they can drive their Honda Civic to truck driving school doesn't mean that they understand all the traffic laws. You'd be amazed how many people here in Lubbock don't know how to properly merge on the highway. That's a sore spot for my wife. She gets frustrated with Lubbock drivers because they don't know how to merge. They'll get on the get-on ramp and hit their brakes like oncoming traffic, and they expect you to stop and let them on. They don't know how to speed up and merge with the flow of traffic. And consequently, there's a lot of wrecks in Lubbock because of that. Has anyone heard that CR England was cutting their drivers' pay? No, but I've heard some other companies are doing that. Just rumors. I don't have nothing solid that I can report yet. Chicago companies, they're advertising in Florida, Craigslist. I hate that. Yeah. That came from channel member Ramon. Yeah, they're getting more desperate because the word's getting out on them. And, I've talked about that CEO that put a comment on YouTube saying that his company was no different from KLLM or FFE or any other trucking company out there. And I thought, well, that's why you're having trouble getting drivers. You're on here complaining that you're having trouble getting drivers, and it's because you're no better than the rest of them. Try to work on being a better company and then see if you have trouble getting drivers. You don't have to spend all this money on sign-on bonuses and recruiting bonuses and all that. Just treat your drivers good and the word will get out. I start with Swift right when they bought Central Refrigeration and stayed a couple of years. It was cool. Yeah, I was back there during that time too. I worked for them originally from 96 to 2001. Miss Mother Trucker says yes. The new drivers will never know how to shift a manual transmission. Yeah, and even if the trend in trucking is to go away from manual transmissions, I think it's still good to know because you never know. Let's say you work for a company and your truck breaks down, your automatic breaks down. They say, Trucker Todd, it's going to be 2 months before your truck's ready. The transmissions are on back order. Your company goes, well, we got this old 10-speed out back. And you have to say, well, I can't drive it. I've got a restriction on my license. I'd say if you're in truck driving school and there's any way you can do the manual transmission to get that on your license, it's handy. When I started driving, there was no choice. There was only manuals. Then they came out with something called auto shift, which was kind of cool, but it rarely worked. And now we've got what we call an automatic transmission, but it's really an automated transmission. But yeah, if you could learn on a stick, it's going to benefit you because you never know when you might need to drive one. Miss Mother Trucker is calling it a night. She says, good night, my friends. Good night, Miss Mother Trucker. I hope you have a good one. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for bringing your friend. Hey, we got a donation here from my good friend Robbie Ross. $5 super sticker. Thank you very much, my friend. I really, really appreciate it. You're doing all the good tonight. You became a member and did the $5. Thank you so much. I hear there's a driver from Kentucky that thinks he's some kind of coach. What are your thoughts? I don't have any thoughts on that. I don't know. Man, that looks creepy when she walks through here with her blanket because the virtual background disappears her. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, I'm walking out of my living room, folks. Give me just a second. All right, I'm back in my travel trailer. Ramon says was working for a company, was getting paid $2,100 a week. They cut it down to $1,500. Man, that's a big pay cut. That's like 25 or 30%. Well, it's like 25% pay cut. That's tough. Did they say, hey, this is temporary, we're going to do this for 3 months and then we'll give it back? Or did they say this is the new normal? Gary Cook says, back in my first years of trucking, I taught myself on how to shift a Super 10-speed. I miss that transmission. Yeah, those are kind of cool. Gregory Spears is here. He says, hello to you too, sir. Thank you for coming in tonight. If you guys got anything you want to talk about, throw it up there. We got time now. We're still hanging in the mid-30s like we have been most of the night. And the comments are coming a little more rapid fire than what they were earlier. So we'll keep going as long as y'all want. That same CEO has not made a video last couple of days. Yeah, Robbie knows who I'm talking about. Hey, maybe he's busy. I know he's going around trying to save accounts. I think that company is in pretty bad shape. So I don't know. I like that company, and I would be willing to help them if they reached out to me. But they're going to do what they think's best for them, and that's fine with me. It's no skin off my back either way. So Ramon says Super 10 is not for anybody. So you don't like the Super 10, I'm taking it. So what is everybody's favorite manual transmission? 13 speed, 18 speed? Does anybody remember the trucks that had 2 sticks and you had to like stick your hand through the steering wheel and kind of shift both of them? I never got to drive one of those, but I've seen one. My dad knows how to drive those, though. I seen him drive an old grain truck that was like that when I was a little kid. He could also pick up snakes like the crocodile hunter. I don't get it. Him and my grandfather both. There was something about them. They would pick them up and they could crack them like a whip and kill the snake. And they'd do poisonous snakes, no sticks, no nothing. And I never understood how they could do that. That's not me for sure. No Fear says he drove a Mack that was a 2-stick. When I first met my wife, Paula, I was driving a Mack. Wasn't I, Paula? Wasn't in that red? Yeah, I was driving a Mack, and I missed that truck. The thing I didn't like was it had the cup holder on top of the dash of the center stack. And I was driving down the road with a fountain cup up there one time, and a cop pulled me over and said that it was blocking my vision. And it was back before GPSs and all this stuff we got now. I wonder what that cop would think now if he saw some of these dashes with the frilly things hanging from the top of the windshield and all the stuffed animals on the dash and all the GPSs and dash cams and toll transponders and all of that. But I tried to talk that cop out of that, but he was insistent. I was like, it's a cup holder. It's designed to have a cup in it. But yeah, that was a long time ago. I've driven a 13 speed, but never done an 18 speed. I like a 13 speed, but now that I'm getting older, I don't mind a 10 speed. A 9 speed, the gears seem too spaced out, and it makes the truck feel like it doesn't have any guts. It was a farm truck, No Fear says. Oh, the Mack was a farm truck with the 2 sticks. No Fear, are you, I don't know how to ask this question nicely. Are you older than me? I'm 50. And the trucks that had the 2 sticks were long gone by the time I got of driving age. So I'm wondering if maybe the truck was really old, or if you might be a few years older than me. Ramon's driven a 7, 8, 9, 10 Super 10, 13, 18, and a 2-stick Mack. Dang, Ramon, you've done it all. You got me there. I have not. Channel member Corey Oatley says he likes the 13 speed. I think a lot of people like the 13 speed. Gary Cook says R model Mack. You remember those? Yeah, we had a guy, I can't even remember his name, when I worked at Pilgrim's Pride, that drove a day cab Mack like that. It was the oldest one in the fleet, and they retired it while I was working there. And he was so upset he wanted to keep that truck. He loved that truck. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. Really nice guy. But shoot, that was 2015. That was 7, 8 years ago. I forget names over that length of time. Was it? Paula's looking at me. When did we? Yeah, but I left Dart in 2014.
We moved here in 2014.
Okay, I've got the dates wrong then. It's been longer than that. When did I work at Pilgrim's Pride? 2009. So it's 2009. So that's why I don't remember his name. It's been 14 years, 15 years, something like that. Ramon says a 7-speed Spicer. They were hard. I didn't even know there was a 7-speed. So you got me there, Ramon. Give you guys a few minutes to type. For you new folks here, in the ticker, the email's there, the website's there. Check those things out. I'll remove that. Also under Trucker Todd, it has the website address. Go check it out. Also, give this video a thumbs up, share it on your social media platforms, and make sure you're subscribed so that you get notifications when those future videos come out. All those things are free to do. If you'd like to support the channel financially, below the videos, there's an opportunity to leave a super chat where you can pick your amount, or you can also become a channel member for just a few dollars a month, and you receive videos earlier than everybody else. You receive, special recognition in here. It puts a little circle thing beside your name and changes your name color to green. And I try to read your comments first if I see them. So anyway, hopefully you guys will have a few more comments. If you don't, why is this thing ringing? I thought I turned on Do Not Disturb. It turned it off. My phone has been acting weird. Sorry, I got to answer this text. I can figure out how. All right. Now I'm back. And I've got Do Not Disturb on. So maybe it'll stop ringing. 90s trucks, city tractor, most of them were 7-speed Spicers. Oh, well, that would make sense around town, I guess. Gary Cook says, do you think that we'll have a Christmas rush in freight? I think we'll have a slight one. I don't think it's going to be the home run that everybody hopes it'll be. We'll have to have a small one because everybody goes shopping for Christmas, but I don't think it'll be as big as it usually is. The warehouses are lowering stuff now, so they'll have to order some to replenish, but I'll be able to better answer that question about mid-November because, they're going to start stocking the warehouses and then they're going to cut off around the end of November. And it probably won't be a big order again until February, right before Valentine's Day. So it's anybody's guess, but the short answer to your question is I think we're going to have a slight increase. Me personally, and I think a lot of people are going to be this way, I'm going to encourage family and friends to not buy me anything for Christmas this year because I don't think I can part with the money right now. And so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of Christmas shopping. And I hope they don't either. I hope we can just get together as friends and family and hang out, maybe have a cookout or something like that instead of a big deal. Shoot, last year I spent almost $1,000 on my son's family for Christmas. And well, not quite. What was it, about 700? Anyway, I don't think I can do that again this year, especially with these repairs so close to Christmas. Since that government alarm went out, all of our electronics have been acting weird. That's a great point, Gregory Spears. I hadn't made the connection, but you're right. My phones are acting wacky since that deal went out. Who knows what the government's up to? Ramon says, hey, Gary, U.S. mail runs are coming up. Yeah, I've done a few of those lately. I really like them. RCE is here. Hey, thank you for being here. Just joining in. Hope you get going this week. Hi to everyone. I do too, man. I'm glad you're here. Tim Back says, figured you'd still be yappy, LOL. No, we waited for you, Tim. Uh, the group as a whole decided that we couldn't sleep without your knowledge and wisdom and comments. So we've sat here for an hour and 41 minutes just hoping to see you again because you said you'd come in later. I hope whatever situation you're dealing with is under control now. I hadn't talked to you in a few days. I was getting ready to give you a call, make sure everything's okay. I knew UPS is getting ready to hire their Christmas helpers. Yeah, and something we hadn't talked about, something I've stayed away from, is Ford Motor Company. It's looking like that strike might continue for a while, and the worse it gets, that's going to hurt trucking because a lot of you guys haul auto parts regularly. I do sometimes, but a lot of you do it regularly. My wife turned her phone off and the alarm still came through. Oh, that's weird, Gregory Spears. Everybody was mentioning it that morning, and I thought, oh, I won't care. And then I forgot about it, and I was kind of surprised when my smartwatch and both my phones started going off at the same time. And I've got 3 numbers, so one phone, it went off twice, and that makes no sense. Tim says we're all screwed because he don't have any wisdom. That's all right, man. We're glad you're here. So part of that video that I released today, it'll be coming out Thursday for everybody else, but members can see it tonight after this show goes off. Part of it was talking about ELDs and dash cams and all of that. And they thought that if they took the control of paper logs away from drivers, that it'd make the roads safer. And they found it really hasn't made it safer. It's actually more dangerous now because the requirements are so rigid that drivers are speeding and doing things like that. And they said before, and I kind of disagree with this too, that when a driver got tired, he would stop. I know that there was times I drove that I shouldn't have. I'd like to think now that I'm older that I'd make better decisions. But my solution that I've said for years is instead of putting the responsibility solely on the driver, put it on the company, put it on the dispatcher. And I know they're going to say, well, we do that through points. No, I mean criminally. Hey, if a driver has a wreck because of fatigue, we're going after the last dispatcher he talked to, or the last broker he talked to, or the last company representative, whoever it was. If your dispatcher calling you saying, come on, go through that snowstorm, if his neck's on the hook, or if he's saying, you're only 15 minutes away, lie on your logbook. Or, hey, I know you only got 11 hours to drive, but I need you to drive 13 today. We got to get that load there. This is a hot load. If his neck's on the line like yours is, he's going to be a lot more concerned about safety. He's going to be like, I don't care if you think you can make it. Pull over, take a nap, hit it first thing in the morning. You'd make the roads a lot safer. Right now, the company have nothing to worry about. And I'll tell you why, because they get points. All they do is fire you and the points go away. So nobody's going to criminally prosecute them unless you got a recording of them telling you to do something. But yeah, that's where the change needs to be. Instead of punishing all of us, instead of making restrictive rules for all of us, go for the violators, the troublemakers, the people that aren't using good sense out here. And that'll fix it. First of all, and while I'm on this subject, this will get me on the same rant that turned the other video into such a long one. If we're going to do any of this, we need to stop letting warehouses, distribution centers set the appointment time. Drivers need to be setting the appointment times. Not some dispatcher, not some CSR somewhere. They need to call the driver and say, hey, we saw you pick this load up at 2:00 today. When do you want to deliver it? And then try to work with the warehouse to set the best time. Somebody that doesn't even know you, doesn't even know your truck, shouldn't be setting your appointments for you. They, in some cases, can't see your logbook hours. They don't know if you got to stop and get your oil changed along the way, or if you've got a trailer light you need to get fixed. They're just looking, going, hey, this truck ought to be able to do 600 miles a day. They don't know if you're on recaps. We need to get the CSRs out of the middle. We got too many cooks in the kitchen. Drivers should be setting their appointment times. And that's why I like what I'm doing now. I seem to always circle back to SRO. When I call the broker, before I even take the load, if the appointment's too tight, I say, hey, I'd love to do this load, but I can't make that pickup. It'd be 1 o'clock this afternoon before I can get there. They can say yes or no. I'm okay with it either way. Or I can pick it up on time, but there's no way I can get to Houston by that date, by that time. Broker will usually say, well, when can you get there? And I'll tell them. They'll say, let me call the receiver and see if that'll work. That's the safest way to do it. And then part 2 of that is, if I say I'm going to be there on that date and that time, I need to be there, or have an extremely good reason, a breakdown, road closure, something like that. But having a CSR that doesn't know nothing about you, probably never seen the inside of a truck making appointments. I mean, they don't know how long it takes to get around Atlanta. They don't know what Houston traffic is like, and or the Northeast for that matter. And so that's another change I think that needs to be made. It was just broker crap. Scott trying to get a carrier packet done, and I guess the broker has a slow system because the docs were still uploading. I will deal with it in the morning. Yeah, that's one thing that I've never mentioned that I really like about Scott. Whenever you have to do a carrier packet, he's usually on it within 10 or 15 minutes. He's not obligated to. He's never said, I guarantee I'll have a carrier packet done in 15 minutes. But he's very quick. I did one time have one where he was in a bad signal area, and it took him about 30 minutes. But still, he's very good about doing those. And of course, we can't control what the brokers do, but I bet you'll get it fixed in the morning. Ramon says, hey, Todd, have a good night. And to all in here, well, thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming in and for all the great comments. And we'll catch you on the next one. You have a great night, my friend. Tim Back says, you should mention how awesome Scott is with getting brokers added when we need him to. He's the best. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. He's been really good. We haven't had any problems. We did have that one time when his signal was bad. I really thought we was going to lose that load because the broker was kind of flaky too. But he ended up getting it done and making everything right. He really is a pleasure to deal with, as opposed to when I did it for some other companies, and it was a nightmare getting stuff done sometimes. But I haven't experienced those problems with Scott yet. Has freight slowed down that much? I see tractor trailers galore while traveling on the interstates. I've been off for, like I said, the last week and a half, so I can't tell you honestly, but looks like Tim Back has a comment about it. Volume has diminished the last week or so and probably will continue till early November. So that's Tim Back's take on it. Tim Back is doing dry vans. So, Jason, if you're doing reefer or flatbed or tanker, your experience may vary from that. But a lot of people in here have said that freight and rates have gone down a little bit this past week while I've been at home. And I think what it is, the market is depressed while I'm at home. There's no Trucker Todd going up and down the highways. And so the market is depressed. But I'll be back soon. And as soon as I'm back, rates will skyrocket again. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Because I'm going to need them to be high after this. Ramon says, a channel member, Ramon says, was going to start last week in a company. The guy was using 2 ELDs on his truck. Yeah, I mean, what do you tell an officer when you get pulled over and you got 2 ELDs? 806 drivers here. Uh, looks like he's trucking. From what I understand, I just found out about 806 driver this week. I believe he's in the Lubbock area as well. And I shot him an email about maybe us doing something collaborative at some point, and I hadn't heard back from him yet. I'm assuming he's checking the channel out for the first time tonight, and I'm glad he's here. And he's got a cool West Texas t-shirt. I got to find out where he got that. I need some West Texas apparel. Tim Back says, I call almost all of my pickups and deliveries just to confirm the appointments and make sure everything's ready for me when I get there. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Gary Cook says, I'm not an early bird. I like my delivery times set for any time after 8 a.m. Yeah, I'm the same way. I cringe when they go, oh, it's at 4 a.m. I like those 9:30, 10 o'clock appointments myself. And that's why I like going to the Northwest a lot too, because when it's 8 a.m. out there, it's 10 a.m. Central Time. So, it's they're thinking they're getting it early, and I'm still getting to sleep in. Cassius King made it here. Hey, I was just talking about you earlier. I was telling them that we was talking about trolls, and I was telling them that you have a great channel with like nothing controversial. I've never heard you say anything really controversial. You kind of talk about the market. You talk about what you did for the week. You show trucks for sale and things like that. And you mentioned a few weeks ago that you got trolls, and I don't see how, but I guess no matter what you do on here, when you stick your neck out, there's always going to be haters. Also, if you're still here, I'm trying to make emojis for my members, and I know Shannon Thomas was going to reach out to you about how to do that. But if you could email me, or I'll email you and tell me how to do it, or I could copy yours, that'd work too. I would really appreciate it. It's Todd at truckertodd.net, and it's also in the ticker below the screen, as well as Scott's email. If anybody wants to email SRO Logistics about coming to work here, if you've got your own truck or anything like that, it's safety at srologistics.com. No Fear says, hey, Cash. Maybe Cassius King will comment about freight volumes as well. Like I said, I've been home, so I haven't got to experience it firsthand this week. Tim says the volumes usually go down around this time because they are all getting ready for the holiday surge season. Yeah, that's true. They use a tablet in one and the other one on your phone. Yeah, now when I was at Roadrunner, and that first truck went down, I'm going to remove my wallet. It hurts to sit on it after a while. Too many cards in there. When I was at Roadrunner and my first truck went down, and I got a Ryder truck rental for a few weeks, they had their own personal logbook for Ryder, and Roadrunner had their own personal logbook, and I had to run two. And the way we did it was I ran the Ryder logbook, and then I copied it onto paper, and I sent the paper to Roadrunner, and Roadrunner updated their logs with what I put on the paper. But I always felt that was kind of shady. And if I'd ever got stopped by a DOT and he'd have seen my paper logs in there, I'd have probably been in trouble. But it was legal. I wasn't doing anything deceptive or running beyond my hours or nothing, because Ryder would have caught me. But I don't think you're supposed to have two logbooks in your truck like that. All righty, we're creeping up on the 2-hour mark, and a lot of the regulars that are in here have already laid down. So we may wrap this up soon if it keeps dying down. Seems like every time I kill it, a few people comment right after I leave, and then I can't comment back because I'm already gone. But if you've got something you want to talk about, type it as quick as you can so we can get it in here and keep this going. If you rent a Penske truck, Penske has their own ELD. Yeah, I guess all the rental truck companies do. And they're doing CYA. They're protecting themselves. All right, Tim's wrapping it up. He's saying, have a good night, all. So I guess that's what we're going to do. We're at the hour and 56-minute mark. I'm going to go about another 3 minutes. And if you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to call it a night. It sounds like my voice is already gone. And I appreciate everybody being here tonight. And I appreciate all the new memberships here tonight and things like that. I appreciate the super chat. Really appreciate all y'all's support and showing up for these videos and the enthusiasm that's out there. And like I said, I'll do my best to touch base with everybody tomorrow too, in some format or another. So, Ramon, the first company I'm aware of to use ELDs was Warner. Now, they may not be the first, but I know they had kind of a pilot program with the DOT, and they were the ones that were really pushing for it. Gary Cook says, have a great night. And channel member Ramon says, Warner. Yes, sir. That's my recollection, too. They were the first. They were bragging about it. They had big stickers on the back of their trailers. We have electronic logs, no paper logs, all that. And they really kind of ushered it in. Ironically, they're now the one in a lot of legal trouble for accidents, but even accidents that weren't their fault. So just goes to show that you can try your best to be safe and still have everything work against you. No Fear getting ready to check out too. He's saying, have a great night and be safe, everyone. Yeah, great words. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I'm going to give about another minute. So if anybody else got anything they want to say their goodbyes or whatever, we're going to go another minute and then I'm going to cut out of here. And then those of you that became members tonight, go check that other video out. It's a long one, so if you're tired, you may want to wait and catch it tomorrow. And then as my day develops tomorrow, I will try to put a video out either to everybody or to the members and let y'all know what's going on. But again, I just want to reiterate, give me a thumbs up on your way out tonight. At least do that for me. And double check that you're subscribed and share this video out or tell your friends about us, whatever you feel comfortable doing. And I'll catch you on the next one for sure. Channel member Ramon says, good night, all. Todd, hope you get your truck soon. I think we're going to end it on that positive note. I thank you, Ramon, and hopefully we'll get it back soon. Thank y'all for sticking with me for 2 hours tonight. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.